welcome back to another episode of City Skylines with me, Yama. Today we aren't going to be making a new area on the city, but we're going to be improving some of the areas we've already done, and it's probably going to be the recurring theme for the next few episodes, because I just feel like I've left a few things not finished, and I'd like to get them done before starting another area. So today we're just going to fix a few things and see where that takes us. A moment ago I fixed the highway as one of the lanes was going the wrong way, so we weren't actually getting traffic from the left hand side, so that's sorted. And I wasn't actually very happy with the road that was close to the beach. I just thought it was not really realistic enough. It didn't do any justice to the beach and the lovely golden sands that we've got there, so I wanted to make something a little bit nicer and also something that would complement the area a little bit better. So I deleted the road there and put down an avenue which is going to be right across the seafront with a seawall to separate it from the sea. So I moved this school and put down a public toilet, and I'm going to make this area here a bit of a tourist area. So I've put down this nice carousel, a few parks, and I'm just going to place some nice parks all the way along this strip. And obviously we're going to need a lot of car parking as well, so as I'm going down I'm trying to figure out the car parking. I use these big car parks, but I actually decide against using them and I use a spiral underground car park instead. So I'm just measuring up there for the underground car park and then I decide to place it down. So I've put 2 in on this corner and I'm just going to play around with the design, put in a pathway so that pedestrians use the path there, and just prettify the area a little bit. I actually did something that I've never done before, which was use gravel in an area between a pathway and a road, and it looked really good. I was really surprised at how nice it looked, especially with the palm trees and things. It looks a little bit like sand, so I was really happy with the way that turned out. Now further down the road I'm also putting in a park here. The gravel trick didn't work here, so I just filled that in with concrete. And I want to try and put in as many footpaths in between the shops so that people can walk in between the different areas and move around easily. I'm just sort of trying to get a variety of parks in, and of course another coffee shop because I do like coffee. I don't know which one's my favourite. We've got a Costa and a Starbucks around here, and like Cafe Number 1 and Cafe Nero, but I've never found a model for Starbucks or anything, only Costa, so I just randomly place it everywhere. And I didn't want too much concrete around here as I think it looks a little bit too drab, so I decided to use some tiles, and the prop line tool mod didn't work because I'm trying to get it to go through other objects, so I just started placing it randomly and it looked absolutely fine actually. As long as you make sure the edges line up, you can just place it randomly like a patchwork in the middle and not be overly cautious about it, and it always looks alright. So that's quite a good tip there. Don't spend too much time trying to line them all up, which I've done many times in the past. So I've liked that so much that I've decided to join up some of the roads like that. So I'm just going to go down this pathway. Just gives it a little bit extra to look at, a bit more excitement. So in between the small road and the seawall is a 1x1 block, which I've got these nice little 1x1 parks. So I've decided to alternate between trees and benches, and I've also got one that's just like a blank piece of concrete. So I've used that to try and make like a promenade to go down the side. I've also added in a bit more parking, as you can never be too sure that you've got enough. The other place I wanted to do was the park in between the two districts, so I've decided to start on that one today, And I'm going to flick through this quite quickly because it's quite a large park, and also I decided to do another park on the other side, so I'm not going to show you all of it because it could get quite boring just watching me place trees. So I've speeded it right up for you, and as you can see I've just put in some pathways, and I put in some more in a minute just to give people lots of options and to make it look a bit more exciting. It's just like a little walking area park, and really I've got it there just to connect up these two areas which wouldn't look very good with buildings in them. So I'm using a real variation of trees here. So far we've got palm trees and the normal oak trees, summer trees, the white flowers, some boulders, and I put in quite a few other trees. I'm not being very specific on where I'm putting them, as I'm trying to make it look quite natural. Well, I'm trying to make it look like it's been planted and just sort of looked after over many years, so it's not completely perfect and it's a little bit wild. I've just added in some extra little bits of grass and some bushes, and I'm just going to keep going until I think it's done. So I'm adding in all sorts of different things here, just trying to fill it up and keep it looking natural. So I'm just dotting them around. I'm not putting too many in of one thing. And sometimes I put more than one down in one place to make it look a bit bushier and a little bit thicker. Now I'm going to put down some benches just along the pathways. I was thinking while I was making this, it's a little bit like Central Park in New York with all the trees and things. And I've got this little public toilet, so I'm just going to plop that down. And again, just a few more trees just to finish it off. And that's that park done. And the other park that I'm going to do is in between the hospital and that park. It's quite a large area here next to the highway, which I didn't really want to use for buildings because they don't like being near the highway, and I thought why not, some nice greenery in the area. And I've got this pathway that leads onto the area next to the hospital, so I'm going to connect that path onto this one as well. So I've put it as an overbridge, but after doing this I think I might go back and put it underneath so it's like a tunnel. I don't really like the way that looks, as the road from the hospital is already a bridge, so a bridge over a bridge just seems a bit too much. So let me know what you think, guys, because I'm not really sure whether I want to keep it. Maybe I'll put it as a tunnel instead. So I'm placing the trees down for this park, and I'm trying to keep it quite similar to the last park, as I don't want them to look completely different. I want them to sort of blend in with each other. So I'm using quite a lot of the oak trees on this one to patch around the highway, as I don't want people to be able to see the highway and sort of detract from the beauty of the park. So I'm just randomly patching around the highway and also the avenue that comes in. And I love creating parks like this and watching the people using them straight away. It really makes me happy, as I would be really happy if I lived in a city that had a huge park like this that you could just retreat to and not feel like you're in a city. So yeah, it really makes me happy watching them, even though they're not real. So that's the area. Let me know what you think, guys, of that park that I've just made, and also the leisure area that I've done. I'd really like to hear from you about what your thoughts are, if I'm going in a good direction or not. So the only thing left that I'd like to do is name the districts. So I'm going to put this park in a district and it's going to be on its own, just this park and the park next to it. I'm going to try and join them up onto the same district. But I try not to get this road in, which I think is inevitable, so that's that. I've decided that I'm going to name the park St James's Park, and that's due to one of my subscribers who is also a good friend of mine, and I'm naming it after him. as he's been loyally watching me since the start, so I really appreciate that. So that is now St James Park. And I'm also going to name this little leisure area. I'm not really sure what to call it, so I call it Yama Seafront, as I thought that is my name, Yama. So guys, that's the end of this episode. I really hope that you enjoyed it, and I know it wasn't really building anything exciting, just sort of filling in gaps and making things look a bit better, but I really think it helps my city to improve in the area that it's in, not just expanding it all the time and making it huge and rubbish. So I'm trying to improve the areas so the whole place looks like a nicer area to live and looks more complete. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys. The next episode I'm going to do the little beach area, and also where I've put that big avenue in, I'm going to make that a tourist area. So if you've got any ideas, leave them in the comments, and thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe. Thanks.